I actually came across this old PSA from 2011 in a recent video by Sargon of Akkad, and I thought I had a lot more to say on the subject than Sargon already did. So here's a public service announcement that I think is even more problematic today than it was 4 years ago when it was originally made. The idea that people are just unhappy with words, and instead of dealing with their own unhappiness, they want to control what you say because what you say makes them feel bad. In the modern reality of social justice warriors and political correctness gone insane, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. So let's look at what is and isn't acceptable. The PSA is only 30 seconds in length, so I'll just present it as a whole and then get to my comments thereafter. So here you go.
It's not acceptable to call me a nigger.
It's not acceptable to call me a spick.
To call me a chink.
To call me a fag.
It's not acceptable to call me a kike.
And it's not acceptable to call me a retard or call yourself or your friends retarded when they do something foolish.
The R word is the same as every minority slur. Treat it that way and don't use it.
Spread the word to end the word.
Now, I know that this is really a move to equate the word retard with other socially unacceptable racial slurs, so we'll address that first. The problem is, it's actually linguistically accurate to use the word regardless of how it makes people feel. These people are mentally retarded. The word is defined in the dictionary as less advanced in mental, physical, or social development than is usual for one's age. It is descriptive of their condition. That is, for whatever reason, what they are. I'm sorry if reality doesn't make you happy. Now, yes, people can and do use it as an insult, even where not applicable. But the fact remains, individuals have a choice whether or not they are going to be offended by things others say around them. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, something that lots of people just don't want you to know. Nothing is offensive. Absolutely nothing that anyone can possibly say about any subject, absolutely no name that anyone can conceivably call you, absolutely no image that anyone can possibly show you, none of that is offensive. Nobody can offend you. Nobody can cause you offense. Offense is always taken. It is never, ever given. If you take offense to something that someone says or does, you're the one doing it to yourself. Now, think about that for a moment. Nobody can force you to be offended by something that you experience. You choose to be offended. It's all on you. The responsibility for your offense is your own. It isn't the responsibility of others to make sure your precious sensibilities are not hurt. If you are offended, then you are doing something wrong. Don't go blaming others. Look in the mirror. And this is where I want to talk about all of the other racial slurs because the same thing applies. What these people are saying is that they are personally taking offense because someone uses a particular word in relation to themselves or a group that they identify with. Well, don't do that. Knock it off. Learn that not everyone is going to like you for whatever reason and move on with your life. Words only have the power that you permit them to have, the power that you personally grant them over your life. If you freak out every time somebody says a word that you don't like, if you have an extreme negative reaction, which is exactly what offense is, then the fault lies with you, not with the person using the word. There is nothing inherently offensive with the words nigger, or kike, or spick, or fag. The one taking offense is you. The person using them is not going around handing out free offense cards. What you have to remember is that they are just sounds coming out of someone's mouth. You're more than welcome to disagree with what they say. You're entirely welcome to engage in more speech to voice your disagreement. But what you're not welcome to do is try to stop them from speaking in the first place because you have an overactive emotional reaction to said speech. I think George Carlin had it right when he said this.
For instance, you take the word nigger. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the word nigger in and of itself. It's the racist asshole who's using it that you ought to be concerned about. We don't care when Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy say it. Why? Because we know they're not racist. They're niggers. Context. context. We don't mind their context because we know they're black. Hey, I know I'm Whitey, the blue-eyed devil, patio fade, gray boy, honky motherfucker myself. Don't bother my ass. They're only words. You can't be afraid of words that speak the truth, even if it's an unpleasant truth, like the fact that there's a bigot and a racist in every living room on every street corner in this country. I don't like words that hide the truth. I don't like words that conceal reality. I don't like euphemisms or euphemistic language. And American English is loaded with euphemisms because Americans have a lot of trouble dealing with reality. Americans have trouble facing the truth. So they invent the kind of a soft language to protect themselves from it. And it gets worse with every generation.
This is the problem with the modern politically correct movement, that instead of dealing with their own offense, people want to stop anyone from ever saying or doing anything that they don't like in the name of being offensive. That's why we have safe spaces on college campuses where nobody can ever say anything potentially triggering, where you have an echo chamber where everyone has to agree lest someone, somewhere, for some reason, get butthurt over something that someone else says or does. But that actually leads to intellectual and emotional weakness. It leads to the individual being unable to deal with the real world as it actually is. It leads to the individual being too immature to handle the slings and arrows of reality. And here's the thing. Reality exists no matter how bad it might make you feel. If you don't want to feel bad, the solution isn't to stop others from doing things that hurt you. It's to come up with a better way of handling your offense so that these things don't bother you. Now this reminds me of another PSA that I saw a very, very long time ago back in the 70s. I didn't think I'd be able to find it, and it took me a while, but I did find that PSA online, and here it is.
Yesterday Jimmy said I was prejudiced.
Do you know what prejudice is?
No.
Well, prejudice is when you react to someone because of their religion or their color.
But I don't do that.
Who is Jimmy?
Jimmy's one of my Jewish friends.
Then you are prejudiced because you think of Jimmy as your Jewish friend and not your friend.
Now, the gist of this is about a grandfather and his grandson, and they're talking about this kid's friends, and the kid says something about that's my Jewish friend, and the grandfather says that's prejudiced. He shouldn't say it's his Jewish friend. Well, why the hell not? It's not like there's any negative connotation given to the word Jewish. It was a means of differentiating this particular person from another person. It's no different than saying that's my tall friend or that's my fat friend, except, today that kid would be attacked for fat shaming or something stupid like that. What's next? If you say, that's my blonde friend, you get criticized for hair colorism? Reality alert, people. Everyone isn't identical, no matter how much you wish they were. Recognizing these differences, be they positive or negative, is perfectly okay, no matter what your politically correct mantra says. I don't care what skin color you have. Recognizing that you have a particular skin color is not racist. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. Recognizing that you have one orientation or another, that's not discriminatory. I don't give a damn what gender you are, but recognizing that you are one gender or another, that's not sexist. And calling you a name that you don't like, that's not unacceptable. Sure, it might be to you. You might prefer that someone not call you those names, but your preference is by no means a requirement on others. They might not like you for whatever reason, especially if you're a social justice warrior prick. And you have no right to stop them from saying whatever they want to say through legal or political means, especially in a nation where freedom of speech is enshrined in the founding documents of the country. If you don't like what someone says, say something back. Engage in a spirited debate, or just walk away. Feel free not to like them for what they've just said. That's fine. That's up to you. You don't have to like them any more than they have to like you. Welcome to fucking reality. Just stop pretending that you not liking what someone else has to say gives you the power to shut them up or to harm them financially, socially, or physically. That's not how it works, and continuing to do so just proves to the world what a fucking asshole you are. And I hope that if you're trying to control language, you took offense at that. Fuck you.